But before ice road truckers made him famous, Alex Debogorski had already escaped death numerous times. He had survived 37 bar fights in a week, 11 attempted robberies, and almost being crushed in a coal mine. However, nothing could have prepared him for what happened next as his TV fame grew. Tragedy struck again and again, taking 2 sons' lives, leaving them with crippling debt, life-threatening illness, and now at 71, the man who conquered the ice roads faces his most difficult battle to date. Was born in Berwyn, Alberta, Canada, on August 4, 1953. His parents, Stanley and Irene, had survived the atrocities of World War II in Poland. Stanley had served as a valiant paratrooper in the Free Polish Brigade, surviving perilous missions like Operation Market Garden, even having to hide from German soldiers for weeks in order to survive. Irene was equally amazing. She studied music and math at Cambridge University while bombs were falling all around her in England. They met by chance in an air raid shelter in 1943, despite the chaos of the war. In 1952, Stanley and Irene decided to leave everything behind and start over in Canada. They boarded a crowded ship to cross the Atlantic, which was rough with stormy seas, and Irene, who was pregnant with Alex, suffered terrible seasickness after 2 weeks. They were married just 6 months after the war. Stanley and Irene couldn't return to Poland because the country was now under Soviet control, and people like Stanley, who had fought for the Free Polish forces, were treated as enemies. They moved west to Alberta because farmland was cheaper there, and a year later, Alex was born, their first Canadian child. Alex grew up on a farm in northern Alberta, where the winters were harsh, with temperatures frequently falling below 40 degrees C. The snow covered everything for months, and the family had to work hard to keep the animals fed and warm. Every fall, they prepared for winter by chopping firewood, preserving food, and getting all the farm equipment ready. Alex learned to plan ahead and remain composed in trying times. By the time Alex was 7 years old, he had a list of daily tasks to complete, including feeding the chickens, collecting eggs, and helping to milk the cows. As he grew older, his responsibilities increased, and he learned how to fix fences, drive tractors, and assist with the exhausting harvest season one year when he was 14. Summers weren't much easier, and the heat brought swarms of mosquitoes and black flies that made outdoor work miserable. Worked tirelessly for 2 weeks to complete harvesting before an early frost could destroy their crops. Alex claimed that experience taught him the value of teamwork and perseverance in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges of farm life, there were moments of wonder and happiness. Alex loved spending time in the woods around the farm, conversing with birds, and taking in the scenery, but growing up wasn't always easy for him because he was awkward and shy, which made him one of the things that made Alex stand out on Ice Road Truckers was his family history. His maternal grandfather, a major in the Polish infantry during World War II, was executed by the Germans for aiding Jews in escaping Poland. This story of bravery and sacrifice stayed with Alex and gave him a strong sense of justice and the courage to take chances when it mattered. Alex was a target for bullying at school because these experiences forced him to spend more time alone, which helped him develop a rich imagination and a love of storytelling. Before becoming a famous ice road trucker, Alex took on jobs that were extremely risky and full of challenges. On August 17, 1971, at the age of 18, Alex started his first job as a bouncer at the Yellow Knife Inn, a bar known for constant fights. In his first week, he had already broken up 37 bar fights. His parents also made sure Alex and his siblings understood the importance of their Polish heritage. Family get-togethers were filled with stories about the war, traditional Polish songs, and hearty meals that preserved their heritage. In 1973, Alex wanted a change and decided to become a taxi driver in Edmonton. Although this job seemed safer, he survived 11 robberies in just 6 months, the worst of which occurred on October 3, 1973, when a passenger pulled a knife on him and demanded his money. Despite having 2 black eyes and even a broken rib, he refused to give up and threw out more than 2,000 rowdy customers. He nearly got stabbed 13 times, but he managed to avoid it each time. Before the police arrived in early 1974, Alex had relocated to Alberta's oil fields, where he worked 16-hour shifts in temperatures as low as 40 degrees C. On July 12, 1974, a drilling pipe came loose and narrowly avoided hitting his head, which could have killed him, but Alex persisted. Demonstrating that he was not afraid of risky work. In November 1974, Alex began working in the coal mines of Grande, Alberta, going 2,000 feet underground every day and dealing with constant dangers like gas explosions, cave-ins, and coal dust that could damage his lungs. Alex's personal life was equally exciting. On June 15, 1972, at the age of 19, he married his high school sweetheart Louise. Their story began on September 7, 1969, when Alex, who was 6'3" and had awkward dancing skills, spent 17 hours digging with his bare hands in a small shovel to save 3 miners trapped in a collapse on March 22, 1975. His bravery was evident. But these difficult jobs also taught him how to remain composed under pressure and solve problems quickly, skills that would later help him as an ice road trucker. On their third date, Alex took her on a late-night drive across a frozen lake. The ice cracked beneath their car, but Alex's quick thinking got them safely to shore. The experience brought them closer. When Louise found out she was pregnant on March 12, 1972, Alex stood by her and proposed with a ring he made from a silver dollar, not caring what people thought. Alex had unintentionally knocked over a 5'2" Louise at a school dance, but instead of getting upset, Louise laughed, and they began dating. The Degorski's life was difficult at first, and between 1972 and 1976, they lived in 14 different places, including a school bus and a cabin, without running water. On November 18, 1972, during a blizzard, Louise gave birth to their first child, who was yellow, but they were unable to get to the hospital because of their young age. Their wedding was small, with only 23 guests, and they even dressed up and drank homemade dandelion wine for their honeymoon. Alex's trucking career started on September 3, 1972, when he was hired at the McIntyre Porcupine coal mine. He had no real experience driving trucks, but he lied and said he had driven trucks on his family farm. On his first day of work, he was put in a huge Euclid R50 dump truck that was as big as a house. He nearly tipped it over on his first turn, but he quickly learned that the job was harsh, with long hours and hazardous conditions. During one storm, his truck slid off the road and almost fell into a 200T drop, despite the risks. Alex thrived and was promoted to lead driver in July 1973. In 1976, he moved to Yellowknife with Louise and their 2 children. They had $500 and a beat-up truck that broke down just outside the city, so they pushed it the rest of the way and lived there for 3 weeks while using a laundromat to stay warm. On May 17, 1976, Alex heard someone at a diner discussing ice road trucking jobs, so he seized the opportunity despite the fact that he had no prior experience. His first trip was in late May, a hazardous period when the ice was that trip didn't scare Alex. Rather, it ignited his passion for ice road trucking. Over the following few months, he studied ice road weather and truck mechanics, and by 1977, he was well known for his skill and dependability. On February 14, 1977, Alex made a risky trip during a blizzard to deliver medical supplies to a remote community. The journey took 52 hours with no visibility, but he succeeded, and the locals began referring to him as the Ice Road Angel for his courage and dedication. On a chilly January morning in 2007, Alex Debogorski was going about his daily business in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, when everything changed. Producers from a TV company called Original Productions were in town, searching for someone to appear on a new reality show about ice road trucking. As they spoke with locals, they kept hearing Alex's name, and everyone seemed to agree that he was the ideal ice road trucker. Curious, the producers decided to find him, and on January 17, 2007, they did, sitting in a local diner. When the producers approached Alex while he was eating his typical breakfast of 4 eggs, bacon, and pancakes, he assumed they were salespeople. However, Alex was cautious but curious. and they told him that they were making a show about the dangerous job of ice road trucking. Alex's big personality, deep voice, and amazing storytelling immediately impressed the producers, who knew they had found their star after hearing his stories about wild animals, icy roads cracking beneath his truck, and the dangers of remote wilderness. With 26 years of experience driving on ice roads, Alex had everything they needed for the show, but on February 3, 2007, he still wasn't sure he wanted to be on TV. He discussed it with his family over dinner, but his wife Louise wasn't happy about it, fearing that cameras would invade their privacy and that the attention might cause issues. Alex was also anxious, not wanting the show to make ice road trucking look fake or silly, and at 53, he questioned whether he was old enough to handle the stress of being filmed for weeks. Concerning what to do, he sought advice from other truckers, and some warned him that fame might not be worth it. On March 15, 2007, Alex even met with Father Joseph, a local priest, who encouraged him to follow his passions but also reminded him that being on TV would come with significant responsibilities. The decision wasn't simple, but on April 2, 2007, Alex's oldest son called and reminded him of the family's financial struggles over the years, which helped Alex realize the show could come through. After speaking with his family once more on April 10, 2017, Alex made the decision to do it on April 15, 2007. A few weeks before filming started, on June 17, 2007, Ice Road Truckers debuted, and Alex immediately became a favorite. Viewers adored his upbeat demeanor, calm demeanor in perilous situations, and strong faith. By the end of the first season, he had received over 3,000 fan letters from people all over the world, and while other cast members came and went, Alex stayed for all 11 seasons on the show. When Alex celebrated his 1,000 days of filming on September 8, 2013, the crew surprised him with a party at a truck stop in Manitoba to show their appreciation. However, Alex also faced challenges during Season 2, as on January 22, 2008, he suffered a pulmonary embolism, a dangerous health issue that forced him to take a break from the show for a while. He returned in Season 3, and fans were ecstatic. By the time the final season aired in 2017, Alex had appeared in all 138 episodes, and on March 15th, he filmed his final ice road trip for the show. When the series finale aired on November 10, 2017, 3.4 million people watched the show, many of them just to see Alex. Alex's family found it both exciting and challenging. After the first season, he received over 50 fan letters every day and was asked to make public appearances. On September 12, 2007, he attended his first major event, a trucking convention in Dallas, where 5,000 people gathered to see him, and there was a long line for his autograph. By the end of the first year, Alex had spent 285 days away from his family, which his wife Louise said was difficult, especially for their smaller children. Alex tried hard to spend every night at 9:00 p.m. with his family, but being away from home so often was difficult. In order to make his call, Alex would call home no matter where he was. On February 14, 2011, he even halted filming in the middle of a perilous ice crossing. By 2012, Alex was able to secure a contract that allowed him to take every third weekend off, allowing him to spend more time with his loved ones. Prior to the show, Alex worked 340 days a year, sometimes taking on extra jobs to support his large family of 11 children and 13 grandchildren. His 11th child was born on March 18, 2008, which further fueled his determination to succeed. The show brought him financial stability, and by 2012, his income had increased by 400%, but he didn't only think about himself. In 2014, Alex established the Debogorski Family Education Fund to help pay for his grandchildren's college education. In his final interview for the show, Alex stated that his family was the reason he worked so hard. "Every mile I've driven, every risk I've taken, it's all for them. They're my reason for everything." His perseverance and dedication inspired fans and made him a legend in the world of ice road trucking. Andrew Debogorski's life changed forever on June 15, 2017, when he was just 31 years old and diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease also known as ALS. ALS takes away a person's ability to move, speak, and even breathe over time. It was a devastating blow to his family. Andrew had been full of life, a father to two young children, and engaged to his partner, Miriam. He was loved in Yellowknife for his adventurous spirit and kind heart, and the neurologist at Stanton Territorial Hospital in Yellowknife confirmed the diagnosis of advanced ALS. Andrew had been feeling weak for months before this, having trouble speaking and feeling as though his muscles were weakening. It was devastating when Andrew's father, Alex Debogorski, was filming season 11 of Ice Road Truckers. Alex hurried home after hearing the news, and the family rallied to do everything they could. They sought out specialists in Edmonton and Vancouver in the hopes of receiving better news, but each doctor confirmed that Andrew's ALS was aggressive and moving quickly. Within a few weeks, Andrew's health began to deteriorate, and by August 2017, he was no longer able to work. He had previously operated heavy machinery. The costs of Andrew's care were overwhelming, so on July 1, 2017, Alex started a GoFundMe campaign called Andrew's ALS Fight to raise $100,000. The response was incredible. Within 24 hours, they raised $25,000, and by the end of July, they had over $75,000 donated from all over the world. Andrew needed a wheelchair to get around, his speech became difficult to understand, and he struggled to eat. Despite this, the family remained strong, and Andrew maintained his sense of humor even as the disease took more from him. In addition, the family held fundraisers in Canada, the US, Australia, and the UK. In September, they held a concert and silent auction at the Yellowknife Elks Lodge, where local musicians performed. Alex was unable to attend, so he sent a video message. In April 2018, the family held a community yard sale called Wheels for Andrew, which raised $40,000. In October 2018, Alex traveled across Canada on a fundraising tour, driving his truck from Yellow to the event. Even with all of this assistance, Als didn't slow down. By early 2018, Andrew was unable to walk and needed a motorized wheelchair to move around. In March, he needed a device to help him speak, and that same month, his breathing became difficult. The tour ended with a gala in Toronto, where they raised $150,000. By the end of 2018, started to deteriorate in June 2018, precisely 1 year after his diagnosis. Andrew contracted pneumonia. He was taken to the hospital and remained there for 2 weeks. Although he survived, he now needed constant care and a ventilator to breathe. Despite everything, Andrew married Miriam in April 2018. It was a lovely but bittersweet ceremony. Andrew needed assistance saying his vows and was unable to stand at the altar. But the day was full of love, and Andrew's spirit remained strong even as he lost more physical abilities by the fall. Boat couldn't move much at all, so he used eye gaze technology to communicate by looking at letters on a screen. His mind remained sharp, and he continued to connect with family and friends. On December 28, 2018, a fire broke out in Andrew's Yellowknife home. Miriam was able to save their 2 young children, 5-year-old Nia and 4-month-old Miroslav, but Andrew was confined to his wheelchair and couldn't get out. Firefighters arrived quickly, but were unable to reach him in time, so he was taken to the hospital. Was just 33 when he was declared dead from smoke inhalation. The source of the fire was never identified, leaving the family with even more. Andrew had spent months preparing for emergencies. He kept a fire extinguisher close by and practiced escape drills with his family. His final act of bravery ensured that his loved ones were safe. Despite the pain and questions, Andrew's last moments were heroic. Even as the fire spread, he used his communication device to tell Miriam to get the baby out. Alex struggled with guilt because he wasn't home when the fire happened because he was working as a truck driver to pay for expenses. The news of the fire came while he was on the road, and the guilt of not being there haunted him in the weeks that followed. Alex leaned on his faith and family for strength. He had visited Andrew just 4 days before the fire on Christmas Eve, seeing his son in such a vulnerable state, unable to move or speak. Alex Debogorski became well known for his role on Ice Road Truckers, but despite his success on television, he has faced financial difficulties that may surprise fans. Although people are familiar with his name, He hasn't earned the kind of money that many would expect, and by 2022, his net worth was only about $400,000. This seems low given his decades of hard work and TV stardom. And one reason for this is that reality TV, the fact that Alex once joked, "I'm only famous. I'm taking $20 donations to get my teeth fixed because that's as far as I can count," was humorous. But it also revealed how little money he made. Money he made. In 2020, Alex stated that he still needed to find trucking jobs during the warmer months in order to support himself, and that it also costs a lot of money to keep trucks in good condition for the dangerous ice roads. It was evident that Alex's finances were unstable even years after the show ended, when he needed to raise $7,500 in 2018 to fix his truck. Alex has a large family with 11 children and over a dozen grandchildren, which puts additional financial strain on him. He has also stated that his contract with the History Channel prevented him from earning additional money through endorsement deals, meaning he was unable to fully utilize his fame to earn more. Alex's well-known job as an ice road trucker has also had an impact on his health. One of the scariest incidents occurred in 2008 while filming season 2 of Ice Road Truckers. He was taken to the hospital due to a pulmonary embolism, a dangerous blood clot in the lung. The incident was so serious that he had to leave the show in the middle of the season, demonstrating how dangerous the job is. Throughout his career, Alex has suffered numerous injuries, including multiple concussions, broken ankles and legs, and even been struck by a freight train. Even though Alex continues to work, he now takes on shorter and less demanding jobs to manage his health. He has also discussed how truckers need better health care and support despite the fact that his injuries have left him with ongoing pain and mobility issues. The freezing temperatures and physical labor also took a toll on his body, causing him to develop arthritis in his hands and knees, probably from gripping cold steering wheels and climbing in and out of trucks for years. He also lost some of his hearing due to the loud truck engines. Tragedy has also played a significant role in Alex's life. On June 16, 2024, Alex lost his son Alexander Jr., also known as AJ, who is only 41 years old. The sudden loss shocked Alex's family and fans, and AJ left behind a wife and 6 children, making the loss even more difficult for the family. This was not the first tragedy Alex had to deal with in 2019. 2 years prior, Andrew, Alex's other son, died in a house fire at the age of 32. Andrew had been diagnosed with ALS 2 years prior. A Facebook group called Alexander Jr. Debogorski Memories was established to share stories and pictures of AJ's kindness, humor, and strong family values after his death. Alex shared his grief online, writing, "My family has suffered profound loss with the unexpected passing of our dear Alexander Jr., 41 years old. He leaves behind 6 children and a wife." This heartfelt message demonstrated the depth of Alex's grief. Alex, who is known for his big laugh and funny stories, has struggled to balance his public life with these private losses. After Andrew's death in 2019, Alex opened up about the loss in an interview, becoming emotional as he talked about Andrew's final act of making sure his wife and children were safe from the fire. Despite all of this grief, Alex still meets fans and shows up at events, smiling for pictures and signing autographs, even though some fans notice. His Catholic faith has helped him deal with his quieter demeanor, and he claims that prayer and his faith in a higher power have given him the strength to persevere. Alex's time on Ice Road Truckers was filled with unforgettable moments. In one episode during Season 3, his truck nearly collided with a fuel tanker on a narrow ice road. Both drivers slammed their brakes, and the tanker sideswiped Alex's truck. The collision could have resulted in an explosion, but Alex's quick thinking saved the day. In another episode, Alex operated a 100-ton crane across thin, cracking ice. Throughout his career, Alex has faced life-or-death situations. In 1999, his truck nearly sank through a frozen lake, and he barely saved the cab as the trailer sank into the icy water. In 2008, during a blizzard, his truck spun on black ice and nearly went off a mountain road. Alex has received numerous awards for his work, including the Canadian Trucking Alliance's 2012 Ice Road Legend title and the 2014 North Atlantic Trucking Awards. Atlantic Trucking Awards. For his skill and dedication as a truck driver, Alex was inducted into the American Trucking Hall of Fame and received an award for driving over 1.5 million miles on ice roads without suffering a serious accident. In 2010, Alex wrote a book titled King of the Road. True tales from a legendary ice road trucker, which became a bestseller and has been translated into 12 languages. To promote the book, Alex traveled to 20 cities, meeting fans and sharing his amazing stories. The book's popularity demonstrated that Alex is an excellent storyteller, in addition to being a skilled truck driver.